Now, when we talk about the economic life, very, very important. And so many aspects comes under the economic life. Now, if we will see, there was a progress in all sphere of economic activity in the Harappan civilization, whether we talk about agriculture, whether we talk about craft and trade or industry, everything was flourishing during that time. The wheat and barley were the main crops during that time. And apart from that, sesame, mustard, and cotton. The plantation of cotton was very much prevalent. And there was a surplus grain which was stored in granaries, which I have already mentioned here. Animals were domesticated on a large scale, like sheep, buffalo, goats. We have found the evidences of these animals through the mounds, and through which we can assume that, yes, people were domesticating these animals. And large number of other animals like deer were hunted for food. Even we have got the evidences of wild animals like gharial. We have got the evidences of fish also. And apart from that, there were specialized group of artisans in the Harappan civilization, in the Harappan sites, like goldsmith, brick makers, stone cutters, and boat builders, terracotta manufacturers. These kind of specialized craft persons were available, and the existence of these craft person we can see through the different sites of Harappan civilization. Now, bronze, copper, which was the most used metal during this time. That is why earlier I have mentioned that the civilization can be also, the archaeologists have also given the name as Bronze Age civilization. Why? Because bronze was used more, or we can see the use of bronze was more frequent among all the metals. Now, how bronze was made? Bronze is an amalgamation of copper and tin. We can see the metal copper also, which was used in different purposes. But yes, bronze was used in a more frequent manner. So we found gold, evidence of gold and silver also in the ornaments. And pottery again remains plain, but we have found the pottery with red and black paint also. And beads were there. Beads were manufactured in the Harappan sites, and along with beads were used along with the semi-precious stone. And there is one very important precious stone, we can say lapis lazuli. And this kind of this stone was blue in color, and it was not available in India. They used to import it from Afghanistan. So lapis lazuli, even there was a carnelian, although we can found here in India also, but lapis lazuli, they specially imported it from the Afghanistan. So we can see that the people in the Harappan civilization, they were fond of semi-precious stone, and that is why they are importing it from the other continents also. So we saw that foreign trade, when I'm talking about Afghanistan, and I'm talking about Mesopotamia also, we can see that there was a foreign trade, international trading relationship also. And because Mesopotamia, Iran, Afghanistan, these three places, we have got the evidences of Harappan pottery. We have found the evidence of Harappan pottery through these sites. We have found the Harappan seal from these sites, which clearly indicates that, yes, there was a trading relationship with Harappa, with the Iran, Mesopotamia, and Afghanistan. So, vice versa, we have found here the evidences of Mesopotamian scripts and the material which we have imported, like lapis lazuli, I have just mentioned. And there was a trading link between the Indus and Sumerian people. Sumerian people are the Mesopotamian people only. And this is what I'm telling, that many seals we have found from the Indus Valley as well as the Mesopotamian civilization. And the seals and terracotta models of Indus Valley actually reveal that, they use bullock carts, oxen, for land transport, and boats were used, ships were used for river and sea transport. So we found these things through terracottas. Terracottas means small sculptures. And these terracottas were basically toys of that time, because toys of the specific period clearly indicate that what all things are in a use. So we saw bullock cart, we saw ships, we saw boat. Even the evidence of boat was there in one seal, where they have depicted the image of boat, which clearly indicates, yes, they were using for the transportation, boat and ships. Now, when we look into the social life of the Harappan civilization, it was very, very colorful. And the people used to wear two pieces of cloth, whether it is men or women, and upper garment and other lower garment, two pieces were there. And beads, the jewelry was very much prevalent. Bracelets, jewelries, finger rings, earrings, these kind of things we saw the people, specifically women's, wearing in the Harappan civilization. And the ornaments, when we talk about, they are using metal, they are using beads, they are using semi-precious stone. So this we have found from different sites. Even we have found the evidences of ivory, we have found the evidences of shells. These have found from Mohenjo-daro specifically. And the children of Harappan civilization, they use toys. So toys in that sense, we saw, the little clay carts, marble balls, and then we saw dice. So these all things were used for game purpose. Now, when we talk about the art of the Harappan civilization, so as I have mentioned in the earlier part also, that there were great craft persons. The existence of great craft persons we saw through the evidences, and we saw the figure of humans in the terracotta. Animals, birds were made, and carving on seals, very, very minute carving and beautiful carving on seals, which clearly shows or indicates that craftsmanship attained by the sculptors. And there is one very, very famous terracotta, or we can say sculpture of the dancing girl. That dancing girl sculpture has been found from Mohenjo-daro, and that dancing girl is made up of bronze metal. So if we will look into that image of the dancing girl, which is there in your book also, page number 10, at the bottom of the page on the right hand side, the dancing girl clearly indicates, that calmness is there in her face, but it is very, means doubtful, or we can say it is not clear that whether that girl is a normal person or whether she is related to some religious with some religious aspect. But most plausibly, or we can say acceptably, the historians or the archaeologists have assumed that yes, she belongs to normal people or normal girl, and it is just to show her calmness which is there in her face, the body gesture. And through her sculpture we can clearly see the kind of ornaments, we can see the kind of dressing style what she's wearing. So posture, body posture, which is very relaxed. So these things we can see through the terracottas. And when we talk about the art, so we cannot skip about the pottery, which is very, very beautifully made. And Apart from that, there was various designs and colors which were used for pots and jars in the Harappan civilization. Now, when we look into the script of the Harappan civilization, script consists of sign. There are different sign, pictorial, we can say pictography. Now, what is this pictography? The Harappans use pictography. Pictography means a kind of sign. It is like an icon, which is somehow showing in a pictorial form. Like if they want to make a sign of fish, so they draw a sign, something related to the the figure of fish. So that is why we are calling it as a pictography. And another important feature of the Harappan script is that they used to write from right to left. The way we write is from left to right, but Harappans used to write from right to left hand side. And the Harappan languages were found in stamps and seals, which were made of carved stones, and which were used for what purpose? Seals and these stamps were used. These were used for trading purpose, trading of pottery or tools. So seals were used for those purposes, on which we saw the different pictography or sign. Now, last, when we look into the religion of the Harappan civilization, there is evidence and there is a clear indication that that chief male deity of Harappan civilization was Pashupati. Pashupati is a proto-Shiva form. And why Pashupati? Because we have found an evidence of a seal where one man is sitting in a yogic posture surrounded with animals. So it clearly indicates in the yogic posture, the person who is sitting, archaeologists have assumed that that person is Pashupati. Pashupati means the lord of animals. When we talk about the female deity, so they worship mother goddess. During that time, there was no god like Vishnu, Krishna. These all deities have started appearing in the society and started taking a dominant place in the society after the Vedic age. But when we look into the Harappan civilization, the people worship more to the things which are related to the nature, like mother goddess. Why they are worshipping mother goddess? Because mother goddess is the source of food for them. Agriculture comes out of it. So that is why they are worshipping mother goddess. They used to worship trees, animals. So these are all, the form of, we can say, nature. Even today also we see that people tree is very, holds significant place in the religious matter. So just like that, during that time, people used to worship things related to the nature. Now, when we look into the farming of the Harappan civilization during that time, because if we will look into the map of Harappan sites, most of the sites are settled in the semi-arid lands. So semi-arid land means where the water availability is not in an abundance amount. So the irrigation is required. So in most of the sites, we saw the proper irrigation system was there, canals were set up, and that is why the agriculture flourished in most of the part of the Harappan civilization. And we also saw the evidences of water reservoir. One of the most important evidence of and the biggest water reservoir we found from Dholavira. Dholavira is a very, very important site which is in present day Gujarat. So we found a water reservoir which might be used, or archaeologists have assumed that it was used for the agriculture purpose. So water reservoir was there in Dholavira, which was used for the agriculture purpose. And we see that there was wheat, barley, pulses, pea, rice, sesame. These were grown in villages in the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. So these are kind of, or the types of, we can say, crops which people were producing during that time. Now, when we look into the transportation, the people use canals, they use oxen, they use elephants, they use, these things for the transportation. Even we see the evidence of boat and ships for the transportation. So through the evidences which we have found through terracottas and seals, we clearly assume that these all things were used for the transportation purpose. When we look into the trade, here we will talk about internal as well as external trade. So internal trade, when we will look into India, then India, or the region of India and Pakistan today, we clearly see that they are trading with one and another sides through waterways, or we can say through the river source. When we look into the international trades or the foreign trade, they have a good foreign trade relation with the Mesopotamia, with Afghanistan, which we have already understood through that lapis lazuli trade in Afghanistan, and even the seals which we have found in the Afghanistan. And there are, the black pottery which we have found in Afghanistan, which the pottery which belongs to the Harappan civilization. So through these evidences, we clearly see that yes, the trade was existing between the Harappan sites and the other sites apart from the area of Harappan civilization. And there was overseas trade also. And the port, very important port city of the Harappan civilization was Lothal. Lothal is in Gujarat, where there was a huge dockyard which has been found or has been excavated. It shows that Harappans were very much familiar with ships. And the trade with Afghanistan was limited to import the famous blue gemstone, which I have mentioned about and that is the lapis lazuli. Now, when we will see that this civilization got ended up completely around 1500 BC. Now, such a marvelous civilization, how it got ended up, means it is very difficult to imagine that this kind of civilization got ended up, and where we saw that everything in the society was in a very progressive, everything was going in a progressive way, or the approach of the society was very progressive. But how and what all factors, what all reason led to the end or decline of the society, of the Harappan culture? So there are a number of reasons which archaeologists have collectively put up, and they claim that there is no specific reason due to which this entire civilization got ended up. They first say that there are natural calamities due to which the civilization got ended up. They say that maybe there is a situation, or there was a situation of flood, or maybe shrinking up of rivers, or decreasing the fertility of the soil, which ultimately led to the end up of the civilization. Maybe earthquake might have caused the decline. And some other claims that the invasion of Aryans, the people from Central Asia, they invaded the place and they destroyed the forts. This thing was mentioned in the Rig Veda also. So these two main reasons archaeologists have claimed about the end of or the decline of the Harappan civilization. But we cannot blame any single reason, cannot become as a the main reason to we can say due to which the civilization got declined.